Welcome to the SciFi Pubcast. Come for a drink, but stay for the speculation. On this episode, we talk about The Day the Earth Stood Still, the classic and highly influential Robert Wise science fiction film from 1951, along with its progeny, the Stark Derrickson remake from 2008, starring Keanu Reeves. And joining this conversation is our official very first guest, or I should say customer, to the pub, Mr. Vince Cherniak. He had a bit to say. So trust me when I say this, you better grab a drink. Welcome to the SciFi Pubcast. Today we are talking about The Day the Earth Stood Still from 1951, the original black and white film, as well as a remake from 2008. With me today we have our staff, our good old Derek. What are you now, a dishwasher?
I'm the kitchen manager / dishwasher.
Oh, right. You're doing dual responsibilities, duties.
I saw him drinking on the job, by the way.
Oh, really? When?
Yeah.
Terrible. No, that's good. You can, yeah.
Okay, well,
we're all drinking on the job, so don't worry about it.
It was sparkling water, I swear.
Yeah, and if you're worrying about the voices you heard in the background, that is our excellent security chief of staff, Kara Simpson.
Hello.
Yeah, and in fact, we do have a customer with us on this episode of the SciFi.
Am I your first paying customer?
Are you paying?
I don't know.
It's okay. I'll pick his wallet on the way out.
Excellent. Good. So I have.
I'll make sure the Ewoks give it back.
Okay, this is going to be an interesting episode. So with us is one of my good personal friends, Vince Cherniak. Vince is more of a film guy than a geek guy. He's been around bits. I met him when I was at journalism school at Western University in London, Ontario, back in the day. And he has some thoughts on The Day the Earth Stood Still.
Really? Is that what I'm here? I thought I was here for a drink.
Yes, but you have to,
You're here for both.
Yeah, so this is kind of like...
Okay, look.
What?
All right. When you told me, you got a podcast, you're talking about The Day the Earth Stood Still, my ears perked up.
Right.
And because this has got to be one of the first films that made a mark on my noggin. I was 4 years old or something.
So we're talking about, what, the 40s? Or
yeah, well, it was before the film was made. It was sort of like a time warp.
Okay, it was
thing.
it was made in 1951. Okay.
I watched the film before it was made. How's that?
Okay,
anyway,
wow.
So there's... Yeah, my mom was a night owl, and she was always watching... There would be on local TV, after the newscast at 11:45, they would have a film. And I wish I could remember what that show was called. They had a little intro to the movie.
Okay.
And anyway, I crawled out of bed and joined her because she was always watching that late night show. And this film is the first film that I can recall. Sort of, it was almost like Gort's laser beam had like scorched my brain. Like
He implanted something in your brain.
Yes,
which has
I
affected...
have not forgotten, I haven't seen really the film in its entirety since then, but it's stuck with me all these years. So I wanted to, come out and share a few thoughts.
That's excellent. This film has been such influence on science fiction even to today. It's been around forever. Let me just set the table, so to speak. It was released in 1951. It was black and white. The director was Robert Wise. And the robot that Vince is talking about is the very simplistic, rounded shape with like a curvature as eyes. And
Fantastic robot.
Yeah, Gort is the fellow's name, the 8-foot tall, powerful robot guy. So there's that. I know Vince has to leave in a few minutes. This is why he's going to dominate the pub at the first part of the conversation.
Let me just get a few things out of the way. So,
Right.
I don't know what the first film you guys
Right.
we all must have one from childhood that was like the first thing that sort of made this indelible mark on you, and you never forgot elements of it, if not the entire film. I think this is it, and I kind of forgotten about this until you mentioned that this is under discussion today,
Right.
and now that I think about it, I probably as much as it made an effect on my 4-year-old, it was like a combination of this beautiful combination of fascination and fear. Right? You're sitting there, you're like, oh my God, this spaceship, there's this aliens, there's like all kinds of cool magic stuff happening, it's scary. I didn't obviously understand all the socio-political stuff. Well, you guys are going to get into that.
Oh, definitely.
At the time. But, it stuck with certain elements, and that's what I want to tell you about.
Okay.
Stuck with me all these years. And I think this thing, now just taking a quick look over it, I think this is a masterpiece. I think I would put this in, and this wasn't, I probably thought, that's a B film. No, this is a major work of art. And let's get into some of that.
Hearing from you, you don't think many movies are like masterpieces, or at least not in the long term?
I think, films, they look, I mean, do you guys remember Footloose from the 80s? Is that something that...
I think Derek was in it.
Derek...
What?
But, that's something that you could say on the cultural radar
right.
is either awesome or a period piece.
Okay.
This thing is
right.
a weird blend of all kinds of things.
Okay.
Let's get back.
Okay, let's go.
Day the Earth Stood Still. Okay. 1951. Hello? I'm thinking, this thing... and this is, obviously the 4-year-old doesn't know this.
Right.
But through time... a lot of the themes in this film weren't really going to play out until the 50s, later in the 50s, 60s, 70s, and the kind of Cold War anxiety of nuclear annihilation that I grew up with. Did you grow up with it?
I did.
You guys?
I did remember the Cold War.
I
was a teenager when the wall came down.
But I mean, this lasted until Gorbachev. And so that's one of the things here, obviously, that this film's addressing. But it's 1951.
Yeah.
And as you just pointed out, intercontinental ballistic missiles weren't even around until 1957. Yeah. So I find that fascinating. You guys want to jump in here? Cut me off. I might talk.
No.
It's actually a really interesting point, because I was looking back in the past at this saying, it's just a ham-fisted Cold War analogy. But I actually had forgotten that Russia didn't even get the nuke until, I want to say, 49. And then you said they didn't get ICBMs until the later 50s. So this was actually a prescient movie rather than just hitting on a well-worn theme.
And how about the fact that it's based on a book that was written in 1940, pre-nuclear?
Which had very little to do with the plot, if you read it. So the short story by...
You've done your research. And then, but still, for this to come out in 51 is amazing, because I thought it was maybe 61. It would make more sense. So I mean, it's way ahead of its time. Let me hit a few other key elements here that I think are outstanding, because we'll get back to the whole nuclear thing in a minute. And
it's so cute that Vince actually made a list of talking points,
especially because I'm on holidays and I'm not getting paid for this, am I?
How's your wine?
Do I get a free one? I'll pay for the first one.
Okay,
give me another one.
We'll see.
Wait, just hear what I got to say here.
Oh, right.
Let's say, so when Joel... so then I thought, I was jogging in my memory, and I think the most memorable thing is probably a combination between the design of that spaceship and maybe Gort. And let's just talk about that. I thought looking at that spaceship is fantastic. That might be, in its simplicity, it's it's both intriguing and disturbing, and I don't think there's been a better spaceship that I've ever seen, like a UFO ever in any film that I've ever seen. It's almost like a Bauhaus German design. It's like this is how something designed by BMW or a German industrial design. It's a fantastic. That'll never be bettered.
Listen, I'm just impressed. You can see the strings in the movie with UFOs.
I can see
the strings for the special effects.
The
string to the UFO when they filmed it.
My copy must be remastered or something because I didn't see any strings when I was watching it yesterday.
I was. I'm going to bring up this documentary called "Watch the Skies" from 2005, and actually Ridley Scott pointed it out. It was the first film he saw that they didn't have any strings. Like all these really bad 40 movies, and this is not really bad. This is really good. And it's 51. You could see the special effects, by which I mean there was a string like you see in the old monster movies, right? So it looks, atrocious in today's standard, but not this film.
Well, I was also struck when I was watching it yesterday and obviously there's things you have to scale for sets and stuff, but it's almost TARDIS-like in that the interior of the ship does not seem big enough to house what little you see of it when the ship opens up.
Yeah, that's excellent. And also, and I'm stealing that from this documentary, this is the first time in film history where there was humans on the flying saucer, not some sort of other aliens who are invading Earth. It was us going to elsewhere.
Well, it's a humanoid. I don't think they really established. They never really established it in the original that he was human. He was, from.
Wait! I'm sorry. I'll give me my films. I was talking about. See, I was watching Forbidden Planet before I got here. Sorry.
I think you've done one too many.
You're jumping topics, Joel.
Joel, okay, that's it.
Sorry,
Give me your beer. I'm going to take that away from you.
Have another drink.
Okay. Let's talk about the humanoid form of the alien, because that's also struck me as why is it that we have to have an alien that relates a life form? Because if you got aliens coming here, they could be anything. Why do they have to look like us? This is anthropomorphizing the alien. But right. An alien could be, it could be like it could take any form. But of course, we're humans. We're consuming the films, the culture. So we're going to represent an alien. Now, look. I don't mind Klaatu and Gort. I like them. I think that was an interesting thing here. That I don't need like some crazy special effects to have some crazy alien. Look, I want to tell a little quick story here. Yesterday, Joel and I went to the local nature museum, and we were in a wing of the gallery that was focusing on ocean life forms. And we've all seen fish tanks and things, right, with weird things going on, like the anemones and the starfish and the what are those things called? Not seaweed, but that like plant-like type stuff. Like yeah. And you got kelp, and you got there's all kinds of life forms. And there's the one particular thing was like the bottom feeders of the ocean. Some really weird-looking life forms there. And I pointed out to Joel, because they had all of these guys in the same tank, that, who needs friends when you've got anemones?
God.
Right? You got that? Yeah?
That's almost as bad as one of yours, Joel.
Well, look, we have this competition going on, and I beat the shit out of them yesterday.
Yeah. I've been feeling ill last couple of days.
Anyway, let me get to my point here. That like you look at like these weird things like anemones, and these are crazy life forms on our planet. So why do we need, when you want to think about what would an intelligent life form, it could be anything. Like, I mean, there's all kinds of crazy life forms here. I wrote an article about this film a few years ago. Jog my memory, Joel. It's the space travel thing by Christopher Nolan, Interstellar. Yeah. And my main focus in my review, and it's online if you want to look it up, just type in Interstellar review Vince Cherniak, and you'll get to the gist of it. If I can remember what I was saying, what I was saying was it's fascinating that when it comes to cinematography, and let's give Nolan credit, he's a big guy, but it's fascinating to me that when you want to represent in cinematic form alien life forms or alien planets, all of this shit is shot on planet Earth. Hello, it was shot in Greenland and the Interstellar and somewhere else. But do you get my point?
Yeah, my point. My point is it'd be very hard to create art for fish because we have different brains. We have different ways to interpret data, right? Through our senses.
Yeah.
We don't know what art would look like for fish.
Yeah, it sounds
Derek, you've been awfully silent, and I want to give you some airtime.
I think art for fish would be coral reefs.
Oh, yeah. Hello, right?
Yeah.
How weird is coral? Like, maybe coral...
It does grow on you.
Oh, dear God.
But at times it can be quite cutting.
Oh, God.
You see what we have to deal with here.
Yeah. Okay. My point is you're saying that why is it a ball with humans? Well, why is
we're talking about? I'm going to remind you about what this pubcast about because don't drink that beer. Okay.
No, you know this is science fiction, right? Okay.
Okay. Look, we're getting back to I like the fact that Klaatu and who's the actor?
Michael Rennie.
Yeah.
Michael Rennie. Yeah, I think he was like a good alien. Why? I don't know. It just, and I the human form is fine. You don't have to have. I'm just saying, it's a device. We need to understand things because we're humans and our brains are programmed the way they are. So, like even Interstellar, it's shot on planet Earth, even though it's representing other worlds.
Right.
I'm just
it's not like you could go and shoot on Mars. That's kind of expensive and really far away.
Yeah, but the thing is like these aliens could have been other things, but we're prepped. We're biased in our perception. So that court has to kind of look a bit human.
But of course, storytelling is about us because we're the ones doing the storytelling.
But
we want.
No, go ahead. Go ahead, Joel.
No, you look at some of the major broad stroke themes of this movie, The Day That the Earth Stood Still, especially the first one, is technology. Look, it's a big, powerful robot, and then there's this kind of skinny, creepy guy, which is Klaatu, is the alien. So
he's
once
creepy?
talking, yeah, he's a bit creepy, Derek. So he's trying to talk sense to the human race, and then on the side we have this big robot who's the enforcer.
Right, and that's what I was going to say is, he was basically sent there to address, the quote-unquote dominant species on the planet, and if he doesn't look like one of us, that's just one more hurdle that he's going to have to overcome in order to get his message across.
I may be confusing this with the old movie or the original short story, but I thought they said that Klaatu was specifically created for this encounter, and that's why he looks human.
That's from the remake.
Oh, okay.
It might be from the short story as well, but I know that because I just rewatched both of them today. So
okay.
Can I ask, you guys have read the short story. I don't know how that's written 1940. It's pre-nuclear bombs, but I mean, what are they? Is it just? And really, the Second World War really hasn't fully played out.
I have not actually read the short story. Derek, did you read it?
I read the Wikipedia synopsis, and
me too. Actually,
basically, there's no atomic bomb angle. The UFO lands. Somebody shoots him. The robot wants to go get the body and retrieve it. And it's told from the perspective of a reporter. And basically the ending twist of it is that the reporter helps the robot like dig up the body and bring him back. And as they're going to leave, the reporter tells the robot, you have to make them understand that we didn't mean to kill him. And the robot speaks for the first time and says, you misunderstand. I am the master. So like the Klaatu was just kind of like this grown spokesman, and the robot was the actual alien intelligence all along, which is a cool plot twist.
It is a cool
Spoiler
plot
alert.
twist, yeah.
Yeah, spoiler alert from 1940.
So basically, they took the events of the short story and they added the nuclear threat angle to it.
Yeah, and that was the genius of the screenplay writer who I read worked with Edward North worked with on the film Patton later, and
Another classic.
yeah.
Amazing.
But otherwise, I didn't see other connections to other films. So yeah, but like I said, yeah, whoever this guy was did a genius job. I want to get to some quotes from the film in a minute here, which are pretty prescient and funny.
If you have enough time, you're going to stay for another cocktail?
I'm gonna have one more. Okay, are you buying?
We'll see what happens.
All right.
You know, you're putting some work in, so I respect that.
Okay, let's see. Okay, stop right there. Stop right there. Now, the Son of God. The Son of God. God takes the form of man. Are you following me?
Yeah.
Derek, are you following me?
Yep.
All right. Well, and I think you can see that through the narrative here, when Klaatu gets shot and possibly killed, he rises from the dead. He's a savior for humanity. He wants to save humanity. There's a kind of Christocentric theme. Look, I don't want to get into this too deep. Go ahead.
What you were saying to me?
It doesn't. He doesn't come off as wanting to save humanity, though. He comes off as wanting to tell them to get their shit together, or their planet's going to be obliterated. You know, he's warning them that, you know.
Yeah, but
they have to turn their stuff around.
Yeah, but basically that's what Jesus said. Jesus said, you know.
But he wasn't doing it with threat.
In another metaphor, in a metaphor that's similar, you know, be sure your sins will find you out.
Yeah,
and Klaatu saying, if you guys continue on this,
let's carry on.
Well, Jesus wasn't saying, as far as I know, that, you know, get your act together or the whole planet's going to blow up.
Yeah, let me say two things about this.
You'll just go to hell for all eternity.
No,
pretty much the same thing.
It's fire, fury, and power, I think was the quote. Wait, that's contemporary politics. Sorry. Okay. No.
Listen,
that was a bit of a setup. Sorry. Yes, I think you can. There's been online. There's people who put this religious interpretation on this film, and it's fine. And you can see it. Things like.
Well, I don't think it's accidental.
No, it's not.
Rises from the dead.
It's probably not accidental. You're right, but you know.
That's why he takes the alias Mr. Carpenter when he goes on the run.
That's right. His initials.
I actually never thought
John
about
Carpenter,
that.
JC, Jesus Christ.
I was about to say that. I've been waiting to say that for 2 minutes now.
Well, Jesus was a carpenter.
Jesus Christ.
Okay, let me do my. Hang on. Here, I'm going to do my Johnny Cash. Jesus was a carpenter, and he worked with a saw and a hammer. Does that sound like Johnny Cash? Anyway.
Yeah.
Okay, no, but is it accidental that they called him John Carpenter? I don't think so. Okay.
No.
Okay, but let's just look at that for a sec. Klaatu is... I don't think he's coming as a sort of like you would have in contemporary world politics, like, you know, a meeting between, you know, China and U.S., like, and they would have some discussion, or, you know, Russia and the U.S. about nuclear armament. Look, this guy's coming not on on any practical. He's just saying, look, just like Jesus said, be sure your sins will find you out, right? Like if you carry. Look, let's go back to the film. The kid's father was killed in World War II. What's his name? Bobby or something?
Yeah, Bobby's the kid.
Okay, and he takes Klaatu, and they're looking at the tombstone, and it's like he's like, what? He died.
They went to Arlington.
Yeah,
National
and
Cemetery.
this is something that there's a complete divide here. It's like the kid's like, oh gee whiz, you don't where you come from, nobody dies in wars, right? Like this is the crux of the film.
Yeah.
The crux of the film is that humans are going to destroy themselves if we continue to be aggressive towards one another. We're going to destroy ourselves. The metaphor here is the aliens are warning us. They're not going to destroy us. We're going to destroy ourselves.
But the threat, the liability, the jeopardy is this 8-foot big robot who's going to destroy the Earth.
Yeah, because Klaatu basically says that if you want us to destroy your own, if you guys all want to destroy each other, that's fine. But the minute you start shooting nuclear missiles out of your planet, that's when it affects us. And if it starts to affect us, your planet's going to be gone.
Sure. Yeah, okay. So are we done with the JC analogy?
So why are you drinking red wine for anyways, Vince?
Because your beer here is...
Wait, wasn't that water a second ago?
Oh God! Thank God we put the explicit rating on iTunes.
Okay. Just give me 1 sec. I'll be right back.
Yeah,
I'm going to go to the washroom for a sec.
Yeah, okay. He's going to wash him, and
You might want to mute the mic.
Yeah, can someone talk because we're sure no. Actually, going to fridge.
What I found fascinating is because I watched both movies back to back, and the 2008 version, Klaatu doesn't even get the warning out. He starts the apocalypse, and he has to go and change his mind.
Oh, big time! I think, yeah.
Yeah, it's like so. I've seen that. I've watched both movies back to back. I'm going, okay, if they were to remake this movie again in like the next 60 years, there's not going to be we're not even gonna know. They're just gonna wipe the planet out because we haven't even changed by that point.
So it'll be a 5 minute short of the Earth exploding.
Yeah, it'll basically be just a 5-second shot of the Earth exploding, and that's it.
Yeah, no one's gonna see that film.
Exactly.
So long and thanks for all the fish.
Yeah, it's interesting that they changed the focus on the jeopardy or the threat from nuclear holocaust to environmental damage in the 2008 version.
Well, I think they basically were saying, humans were destroying the planet. I did like the idea that they were basically built, that the spheres in the remake were basically taking samples of all the other life on the planet to, as examples of, for storage and stuff. That was actually kind of cool.
Yeah, that's almost like out of the Old Testament. Almost.
Yeah.
With Noah's Ark. So again, there's enough symbology and metaphors being used that you can definitely read it in a Judeo-Christian sense.
Right. I also found it fascinating that the in the 1951 version there was actually an attempt to try and study the ship. There was actually an attempt to try and study the robot, and in the 2008 version, they're just standing around all pointing guns at the thing. Like there's no attempt to try and understand what it is that just landed on the planet. They're just gonna be in a standoff with this thing until it obliterates everything.
Yeah, it's interesting. You wonder if nowadays they would simply nuke Washington D.C. or Manhattan if the threat was that significant.
Right.
So yeah, the stakes are so high.
Right. It struck
Speaking
me
of which, we have good steaks at this pub.
Oh.
Go ahead, Gary.
No, it's like they were because I don't remember having ever watched like the first 20 minutes of the original film until yesterday, but okay, there was, interest in the spaceship landing in Washington, D.C., but there was no widespread panic. In the 2008 version, it's basically, there's widespread panic. Everyone's, fleeing cities and stuff. And like,
wasn't it fascinating in 1951? Because I haven't seen the '08. What is it?
'08.
Yeah, the Keanu Reeves.
And I probably will never will. But because I don't want to ruin that 4-year-old, connection to this region.
I don't think it ruins it, though. I think.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. But let me just say the scene where they cut all the electrical, like the cars won't work. Like that's a fascinating thing, because that's kind of an environmental too, right? Like when you think about how connected we are, to the electrical grid, to carbon fuels, everything. That's maybe part of our something we got to be thinking about too. And that's 1951. They're kind of. I thought that was a nice little touch in that film. Like I said, I think there's a lot of genius elements in the original, because I gotta move on. I'm on this pub crawl, so you're not the only pub in town, and I'm moving on here in a few secs. So I'm just
you're right.
I just need to cover a few things here really quick. One is the film score, and you guys can discuss this afterwards. But Bernard Herrmann, apparently, this is kind of an avant-garde musical score, and I'm gonna go back and re-listen. It's the first time apparently theremins are used, ahead of guys like Karl-Heinz Stockhausen. So it's forays into electronic music, 1951. That's pretty cool. Mm-hmm. And then I just want to I don't know, you guys music nuts or not? Yeah, because music's a big part of setting atmosphere, and
we know people who are.
Yes, we do.
Music nuts.
No, but you look at a guy like Chris Nolan, and apparently, sorry, am I thinking about
Interstellar? What are you thinking? What?
Sorry, I may be confusing. Oh dang, I don't think it's. What's Nolan's new film?
Dunkirk.
Yes, they were talking. I was listening to these guys talking about the sound in Dunkirk.
Right.
And it's very complicated, and I can't replicate what's going on. But if you guys want to look into it.
Right.
Isn't it just a ticking clock the whole time?
That's right. And it's also got some weird things that are sort of hitting us in our perceptions beyond our ears. And they were talking about this, and I'm sorry, I can't bring that thread, but you can look it up. But sound is really crucial to filmmaking. We know that. Hello. You have the Star Wars theme, Joel, I believe, on your phone as your ringtone. Okay, anyway.
Right. That's supposed to be private, Vince.
I don't think that comes as any surprise to anybody, is it? But I just wanted to mention a few quotes from the film, and you guys can talk amongst yourselves, okay? But let me bring this up here. Here's a quote. I think this is when Klaatu's in the hospital. You got an Army physician talking to a medical corps major, and he goes, "Their life expectancy is 130. And he pulls out a cigarette and gives it to the other guy who takes the cigarette. And he says, "How does he explain that?" Genius. Oh, here's another one. Hang on a sec here.
Did they know that cigarettes were bad for your health back then?
No, it's actually healthy.
Dude. When I was a kid, my family doctor lit up a cigarette while he was examining me. I'm not making that up. Okay, here it is, and then I gotta get the hell out of here. This is a quote from Mr. Harley. I'm not sure who this character is. I'm talking to Klaatu. "Your impatience is quite understandable." Klaatu: "I'm impatient with stupidity. My people have learned to live without it."
Yes,
Mr.
I love
Harley:
that one.
"I'm afraid my people haven't. I'm very sorry. I wish it were otherwise." Now, I just wanted to mention this because I just, for some reason, revisited a film from the 80s called Man Facing Southeast. Anybody familiar with that?
No.
It's an Argentine film. In a nutshell, it focuses on a psychiatric hospital, and the doctor has a new patient. This new patient, who is the man who faces Southeast, claims he just shows up on the roster one day. He didn't get admitted, but he's an extra patient, and he claims he's an alien, and he's from somewhere, and every day he goes and stands in the courtyard and faces Southeast to transmit, and he's here to save humans from their own stupidity. It's a parallel. I think they ripped off the man, the day the Earth stood still, in some fashion in the screenplay. You can look up the film, but there's a great line in the film where he's trying to explain to the psychiatrist. The psychiatrist takes him in under his wing, puts him in the clinic, gets him to go to work. He thinks he's had some kind of breakdown with this growing up, but he doesn't fully believe his claims that he's an alien. But this guy says at one point, we've come to, the exact line is something very much like this line about, as this alien, it goes something like, we can handle anything you humans can do, but the only thing we have no immunity to is human stupidity. I'm not getting the line exact, but it's almost duplicate to this line here that I just read. It's human stupidity. And
is that relevant, to this, contemporary living we're in right now?
Exactly. Yeah, and that's why. Before I go, I just want to say I think this film is a major work of art, and I didn't understand it all at 4 years old, but damn if it's not good. And also, just one last quote. I gotta go. This is. Hang on here. Let's find it here. Mrs. Crockett says to Klaatu, "You're a long way from home, aren't you, Mr. Carpenter?" And he says, "How did you know?" She says, "Oh, I can tell a New England accent a mile away." That's funny. What? Funny.
Oh yeah.
That's my. You know who I'm impersonating? Anybody? Bueller,
Aunt B.
Anyone? Who?
Aunt B.
Let me try it again. Funny. Who is that?
Now you lost me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry.
It's supposed to be. That's Kevin Spacey interpreting.
Al Pacino.
Okay. Nice meeting you, clowns. I got to move on to another bar.
Okay.
Carry on. Talk amongst yourselves. Look forward to talking to you again sometime.
Right.
Nice meeting you.
Right.
Thank you. Please come back sometime. Perhaps not tomorrow, but next sometime.
Don't worry, guys. I got his wallet on the way out.
Okay, great. Security. Security.
Yeah, security's gonna be talking to Derek very soon.
Carrie, I'm giving you half of it.
And
That's your hush money.
this is no way to run a business, Joel. Stealing stuff from people. It's not.
The point
That's
of
right.
running a business is making money. I'm making money. Boom.
Right. Oh, wait a second. Did Vince pay his bill?
That I don't know. Do you want me to go after him?
No, he's gone now.
Well, he doesn't have any money to pay you with. I took it all.
I'll send the Ewoks after him. But if they come back with a finger, don't blame me.
Yeah, they probably will come back being alcoholics, but yeah, which is probably a good thing.
Yeah.
If you run a bar.
Yeah, I don't know that you want those little bears drinking all the profits, though.
All right, that was entertaining.
Yeah.
And yes, okay.
Well,
And
actually, Derek brought to mind as he was talking. There's this quote from the end where the Helen's fiance is trying to explain that he turned in Klaatu because it was the right thing to do, and you'll feel differently when you see my name in all the papers. And I'm like, you stupid fuck.
Yeah,
He's
a fake.
You are the reason that he is here threatening to destroy the planet, because you are only thinking of yourself. while Helen is thinking about, no, this is actually a problem for the entire planet, not just you. He basically says, the world can wait. I have to do this right now. Like, no, that's not the point.
Yeah, people can be stupid and cruel.
Exactly.
Or it's just selfish and inward looking
as
opposed to outward looking.
And I watch, as much as I love, especially the original. It's like I sit there going, how many ultimatums do we need to, before we get it through our thick skulls as a collective society?
But that ties into whole free will versus might is right arguments.
That's true.
You can use force, but anything, but the end consequence is probably going to be destruction.
Right.
As opposed to trying to teach people to think for themselves and to see the benefits of cooperation versus competition.
And I mean, John Cleese's character in the remake, and I love that he was in this, saying, at the precipice, societies can change, or that is possible, or they are going to fall off the cliff and take the rest of the world down with them. And I'm very cynical today. I'm sorry.
I'm generally cynical, so I can relate. But I shouldn't be, and nor should our customers and our listeners, because life is worth living, and
yes,
and we can talk about science fiction.
Exactly.
There's a few. Go ahead, Derek.
I have to say, rewatching the original, I kind of had a low opinion of it. I felt it was very ham-fisted and obvious. I mean, obviously, a product of its time. But what Vince had to say really turned me around about it. I wasn't thinking the historical context of 1951 being so early into the Cold War before the threat of nuclear annihilation. So I suppose in the minds of the filmmakers, it was less about the nuclear standoff with Russia as it was just the existence of nuclear weapons in general. So it was more about America having the nuke than Russia having the nuke, presumably.
Or I think it was more that the world had the nuke.
Yeah.
Rather than just us having the nuke.
And the problem with technology is that you lose control. It's all about control. You can control, Frankenstein's monster, but no, you can't, because he's a monster. He does what he wants. And nuclear power and nuclear, warfare is the same thing. Oh, we're just going to use a couple of battlefield nukes to obtain this regional stability or security, and that may cascade into something much worse in the end of humanity and of many, many species on this planet.
Right.
With a nuclear winter. This is fun. This is really positive.
Yeah, we're just gonna drink away the apocalypse right now.
Yeah, and actually I find that it's the whole distrust of governments too, especially the 2008 version of it. The whole turning your cell phones, and the Jennifer Connelly character smuggles the cell phone in.
Yeah, but there is even when they're racing back to try and stop to the sphere to try and stop the destruction. The Secretary of Defense is basically having her hands tied by the president, saying no, we actually have to attack this sphere again. Because they launched missiles at the sphere again as Cloud 2 and Jennifer Connelly's character were driving back to Central Park. And I mean, if that had been me, if I had been Cloud 2 and I'm trying to help, and you're trying to blow me up again, I would have just said, what, screw it, screw you guys, I'm out. But he was better about that than I would have been. Yeah,
patience is a virtue.
Patience is a virtue.
I don't have any, so yeah. It's just but it's just so I like how the two movies actually they differ in many ways, but the second one paid homage to the first one. Like I like the blackboard scene with the professor and math equation when Cledu shows up and finishes the math equation.
And they're both just standing there writing. It's like they're both writing the language of the universe, basically the math. at that point.
Exactly. It's the common communication. It's the common language. It's the lingua franca.
Exactly.
And I wish I could do math better than I can, but but and things like what it strikes me too is that the second one is similar to the first one in the sense that you have these army set pieces. So it's like G.I. Joe. You have your tanks, you have your infantry, you have the guy with the mortar, right? Okay, and they all surround the threat, and they all get killed, or they get neutralized.
Except that even struck me as an overreaction compared to the original, because they had a barricade and two guys on the spaceship in the original. Now they have an entire platoon and snipers all pointing their. I'm amazed Klaatu only got shot once at the beginning of the remake.
Oh yeah, I can see them laying mines around the UFO, the flying saucer, with claymore mines. We get out of control.
But that's what I was saying. The 1951 version. They were making an attempt to study it. They
also had a much smaller budget.
That's true, but they were making an attempt to try and study the spaceship and study Gort. In the 2008 version, they just tried to blow it up. Like, how is this helpful, guys?
Well, that's also because a modern audience would want more action sequences in a big sci-fi movie like that.
Right, but it still doesn't stop me from yelling stupid humans at my screen.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think 1951 is a significant year too in terms of U.S. history because U.S. Among with other countries were involved in the Korean War.
Right.
And 51 was just starting when I'm not sure when exactly the Chinese got involved, but it turned from this really minor war into a real war. It's no longer police action for at least some time on the ground.
Right. Well, and you had, as you had pointed out, I think in one of your notes, that this was basically released during the McCarthy era. Yeah, and even then, there is less panic in the original movie than there is in the remake. That just kind of just blows my mind.
Yeah, you think it's just because our culture has changed so much, where we become shittier people over the last 50 years?
I really hope not. It feels that way too often, though.
The other thing I would point out is that 2008, it was 7 years after 9/11, and that was right around the time when movies started dealing with the post 9/11 paranoia and trauma. When they started being about violent paranoid reactions to things.
Yeah, that's probably a good point.
Of course, the second one, so Kaladu lands in Manhattan Park, which is very close to the United Nations.
And the tower, where the towers used to be. So that does make sense. Although he, as you point out, he landed closer to where the UN is in the remake than he managed to get in the original.
Which is interesting.
He landed in Washington. That's he's way off the mark there.
Yeah, so the first one's all about American-centric, American power, putting nuclear warheads on ICBMs.
Right.
And the second one is about the Earth because it's affecting everyone. We're all polluting and we're all using fossil fuels.
Yeah.
And we all, are too busy to, trying to pay back debts and maintain an adequate style of living or quality of life versus sacrifices for the greater good.
Yeah.
I did find the remake a lot more enjoyable a second time around now. When it first came out at the time, I found it a little boring, a little lifeless. But I thought it worked a lot better watching it. I didn't watch it just now. I watched it a few months ago on cable. But I actually thought it was pretty good. And I think it really was an excellent remake because they recreated the general beats of the original, but by having a different message, environmentalism versus nuclear, Armageddon, they managed to use the skeleton of the original, but say something completely different and improve on it in a lot of technical screenplay ways.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah. So I think
they made the
looking at
robots
it,
scarier too.
Oh yeah, definitely.
That's always a bonus.
Yeah, I mean, looking at it from a modern perspective, I think the remake is a better movie overall, better written. But when you take the historical context into it, I do appreciate now that the 51 original is definitely a lot.
I disagree. The 51 version is definitely superior, but there are merits to the 2008 version that it's, as you said, it's a building block. It builds on the original, and it does cover many of the same beats as the original. And unfortunately, it just shows that humans kind of have become shittier to each other in the past in 6 years.
But if you listen to what Klaatu has to say, and this is part of both movies, is listen to the children, because it was the child, the kid, who convinced Klaatu that there's hope for humanity. Right. And I think that's important. It's always about we stand on the shoulders of giants. We are very much like our parents, and our grandparents, and this legacy of history and culture and beliefs, everything comes into play. Right. And sometimes we need to purposely take the corner in a positive direction and not in a negative direction. Right. I think when you ask what's positive, what's negative, then we get into the fine details, and that's where the devil lies, right? The devil's in the detail. Exactly. Fascinating. Well, I want to talk a bit about how this movie has impacted science fiction, because I've done some research because I have no life besides entertaining drunk friends. And he wasn't very drunk, believe it or not. So this movie was based on a short story by Harry Bates. It was called Farewell to the Master. And it was published in this pulp magazine, Astonishing Science Fiction, which is really well known back in the day, from 1940. But did you guys know Marvel Comics actually did a comic book series on it in 1973?
No, I didn't know that.
I did, because I read it on Wikipedia.
Yes, because Derek goes to Wikipedia for everything. That's great. So even in the 70s, this is even before I was born, and they were still doing comics on this specific film. Mm-hmm. That's neat.
It is neat.
And I've been harping in our communications before we record about this documentary from 2005, Watch the Skies. Actually, its full name is Watch the Skies, Science Fiction, the 1950s, and Us. It's from 2005. It's on YouTube. It's in 6 different parts on YouTube. Where I have it is if you buy the Forbidden Planet Blu-ray, it's on the documentary, like special edition stuff, so special scenes.
That's why you were talking Forbidden Planet.
Yeah, and I'll figure this out.
Okay.
So this it's interesting. So actually, Forbidden Planet was like 10 years after this movie, so it's very close, but it's not quite. And you can see the development in science fiction. It's kind of cool. Yeah. I say everything is cool, but me. And in this documentary, you have some really top hitter directors in science fiction: George Lucas, Steven Spielberg, James Cameron, Ridley Scott, and they're all talking about different classic science fiction films, and they all say very good things about the day the Earth stood still, because of the robot, because of what it was representing, because of the fear of nuclear war. And when you have the top guys in film paying homage to, hey, this is a really good movie, it's a really good movie. At least it's very influential. Right. Hell, you have George Lucas. Okay, Derek, let me ask you this.
Yo.
Is there any Star Wars ties from the day the Earth stood still into Star Wars?
Oh, yeah. The Java Skiff aliens in Return of the Jedi are named Klaatu, Barada, and Niktoan. They're Klaatuans, the Baradans, and the Niktoans.
Very good. And nice. Klaatu was played by Corey D. Williams, the son of Billy D. Williams. Nice. And he's very much in the Star Wars fan community. He's a member of the 501st. So that's neat.
That is neat.
That's neat. Cool. I'm losing that of words to say neat, cool. And also, if as a reference, if you Google all the stuff, you'll find an article by Brian Young from Full of SciFi Pubcast on StarWars.com. who talks all about this. I think his article was from 2016.
Nice.
And leaving Star Wars for a bit, what about this famous phrase, Klaatu Baradu Nitkutu? It's not a pickup line.
Thank you, Joel. I think they borrowed that for Evil Dead too.
Yeah, they did. I love that scene in Army of Darkness when he goes to the cave and he forgets the words and he's like, Klaatu, Barada, because he can't remember the last word.
Yeah, Ash, Bruce Campbell, 1992, Army of Darkness, classic movie. Klaatu Baradu Niktu. Yeah, we're gonna have T-shirts done up with that on. So.
Oh dear. Hopefully that keeps all the killer robots at bay.
I also like playing the whole government conspiracy. In the remake, you see all these guys wearing black suits and black ties with white shirts. Mm-hmm. So you have this Men in Black thing as well going on.
Well, this was made after both Men in Black, the first two Men in Black. So yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. And I also like, at least in the second one, the first part of the film where they build up tension, but all these bad things happening. I think that was well done in the second one.
Yeah.
Hey, the military just showed up on your front door. Get in the helicopter or get in the motorcade. Why?
Right. Why?
National security. Anything can be national security is one of the lines Jennifer Connelly used. They're right. Anything can be national security. You don't know.
Yeah, we're not paranoid or anything. Really, we're not.
Yeah, just get in the car.
What do you guys think of the scenes in the original where he's just kind of living with his family, going to a dinner party with them? See, that's the parts that really drag it down for me.
Well, I think he's learning how the people live, and it's not that he's going to a dinner party. It's that he was living at a boarding house, so all the boarders ate together.
It's funny. There's a couple of lines in the new one which I just shake my head at. There's one line: "There's only a few planets in the universe capable of sustaining complex life." Oh, that's so 2008.
It is so 2008, but I mean, he does have a point. In a way, he has a point. It's not on the top of his head or anything, but
Wait, did he say capable of life, or did he specify that have not already bombed themselves into extinction?
That we're capable of supporting life.
Okay.
Yeah, I did it longhand, so I don't have it up on a computer. I just wrote a quick note about that, but that's the idea. And that's and I think we've learned a lot in the last decade and a half. It's
decade.
9 years.
Barely
9
a decade.
years. Oh god.
Barely a decade.
Oh wow. Oh, the other thing is the second one. Towards the end of the movie, when they're in this park or whatever it was, side road, and they get stopped by this police officer, and the police officer says, I have one in custody, or I have him in custody, and he's pointing his service firearm at him. I just laugh because pointing a gun at someone doesn't mean having the person in custody.
Nope.
Two different things.
No.
It's the small things like that just drives me nuts.
Yeah, dumbass.
So, any more thoughts?
No, not really, Derek.
So you both feel that the original is far superior to the remake?
Oh yes, definitely.
Yeah, I think having something original, or at least much of it's original, I think that earns my respect more than another remake that pays homage but doesn't take it in any radically new directions that actually work in terms of the narrative or the story itself.
So you don't think that the remake took it in different directions?
I think I tried to. I don't think it was a very good movie. It's not a horrible movie, but there's a reason why I didn't see it when it came out in 2008. Because Keanu Reeves at the time was pre John Wick. He was he was in a little runt there, and I just didn't get great reviews either.
Yeah, I saw that.
I think most people didn't realize what they were trying to do with the remake. Which, in watching it a second time this weekend, it is better than I thought it was, but it's still not nearly as good as the original.
Yeah, I rented it off of iTunes for $3.99 Canadian. So,
I got the remake as a giveaway from work. So
Okay, well, let's shut the door, so to speak. But let's just check in. Okay, how is our kitchen doing, Derek?
Actually, I got some great news. I said earlier, well, not on the podcast, but to you guys personally, that I was at a air show today in my area of the town, and they had good security going in, but nobody was watching going out. So I was able to sneak behind a food tent while everyone was watching the jets flying around and grab a couple of crates of their hamburger meat and walk right out of it. So we got 2 cases of free carnival quality meat.
and you heard the sirens coming for you there, Derek, right?
Well, I was able to hop onto the school bus that taxied us to the parking lot, so I was lost amidst a throng of humanity.
Yeah, because they are going to notice someone carrying around 2 cases of meat.
I got away scot-free.
Mm-hmm.
Derek, didn't we have this conversation about not saying that you did criminal acts on a podcast that's going to be released publicly?
No, but I paid $20 admission, though.
What's this?
So,
There's someone beeping a horn outside the place. Okay, it stopped. Okay, good.
I paid $20 admission, so, I did pay for the meat, in a sense.
Right.
That's not how that works, Derek.
I mean, come on, guys. It's 2017. We have to think about moral relativism.
No, we really don't.
Go back and wash some dishes. And if someone, for whatever reason, wants to get in contact with you, Derek, what's the best way?
You can tweet me at DerekJBB.
Right. So Twitter at Derek what, BB?
Derek J. BB.
Okay.
Oh, God.
Right.
Are you guys making fun of my name?
Never. We would never do that.
Never,
Hey, it's like
never.
BB-8. BB-8 is cool.
BB-8 is cool.
They named him after me. I won a contest.
Right.
That Force for Change contest. Yeah.
Uh-huh. Right.
Lovely. And Carrie, I really like what you're doing in this pub, and I might actually give you some more responsibilities.
Oh, awesome.
Perhaps an assistant manager. I think you're really good at organizing and doing the logistic stuff and actually working with people.
Oh, well, someone's got to do it, I guess.
Yeah, let me think about that. Yeah, assistant manager. Yeah, I can see that because I think you're showing some good leadership.
Oh, thank you. I
No
think.
worries. Yeah, so when there's people who are going to complain about this podcast and about the pubcast and all that good stuff, say, for instance, my friend Vince Cherniak, I'll send them towards you. And they
goody.
can reach you at what? Twitter?
You can find me on Twitter at Carrie Blackfire42. That's Keri Blackfire42. Yeah, that's me.
Okay, so in closing, I just want to say, Klatu, Beridu, Niktu.
Brada.
Right.
You said
Okay.
you said something like Brada.
Barada. Klatu, Barada. Wait. If you mispronounce it, what happens? Does the robot still kill you?
No, but it opens up a portal of unspeakable evil.
Not again. Okay.
Again. I don't have to explain where you've gone this time, Joel.
Okay. All right, folks. See you next time soon. We're trying to get a show out every 2 weeks. That's the schedule, and I hope it will work out because we love science fiction and we love talking about science fiction. So if you have any viewpoints or opinions or agree with us or disagree with us and you want to see something constructive, by all means, follow us on Twitter at the SciFi Pubcast. And we also have a Facebook page that's liked by about 5 people right now. So find our page and like us, and we will really like you to do that. Also, iTunes. We're on iTunes now, which is big news in our world, in our universe, as well as Google Play. Now, this is a fairly new podcast. This is our official 3rd episode. So please be kind if you leave a review. We don't get paid very much. You don't want to know what I'm paying Derek right now. But we would love to hear your feedback, even negative feedback, because that's how we grow as a podcast and as a business. So until next time, Klatu, Biridu, Niktu.
Barada.
Barada. Okay, Klatu. Barada Niktu.
That's
oh,
better.
God.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Music provided courtesy of Logan Rathbone. Podcast logo by Juan. Copyrighted Joe Welch. Listen responsibly. And we can't wait for your next visit to our fine establishment. Cheers.